Welcome to World Information HD. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins as we uncover the top 10 most valuable Lincoln pennies from the United States. Coins so rare, they're worth millions. Whether you're a collector or just curious, you won't believe how much these tiny pieces of history can be worth. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, uncovering one of the most prized and historically significant pieces of United States coinage, the 1940s mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. If you're a collector, history enthusiast, or just someone curious about rare coins, you're in for a real treat. This tiny copper disc carries not only monetary value but also a rich story from one of America's most pivotal decades. The Lincoln wheat penny is instantly recognizable to collectors and casual observers alike. Its obverse features the iconic profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. For over 6 decades, this design graced the penny, making it one of the longest-running U.S. coin designs in history. On the reverse, the wheat penny proudly displayed 2 stalks of wheat framing the words 1 cent, symbolizing prosperity, growth, and the heart of America's agricultural roots. This reverse design remained until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Now, when we focus specifically on the 1940s Lincoln wheat penny, a whole new level of intrigue emerges. The S mint mark tells us that this coin was produced at the San Francisco Mint, a facility renowned for its meticulous craftsmanship and limited production compared to its Philadelphia and Denver counterparts. This makes the 1940s penny particularly appealing to collectors, as scarcity is a crucial factor in determining a coin's value. The year 1940 was a turbulent time for the United States. The country was still emerging from the Great Depression, and while it had not yet entered World War II, global tensions were escalating. In many ways, coins like the Lincoln wheat penny represent more than currency. They are small, tangible pieces of American history. When you hold a 1940s penny in your hand, you're holding a coin that witnessed an era of uncertainty, hope, and resilience. In terms of production, the 1940s Lincoln wheat penny had a relatively modest mintage. The San Francisco Mint produced just over 63 million coins that year. While this may seem like a large number, it is significantly smaller than the production figures for the Philadelphia Mint, which produced millions more. The lower mintage, combined with the passage of time and circulation wear, makes surviving specimens in good condition relatively rare. Collectors prize coins that have retained their original luster and detail, and the 1940s penny is no exception. When examining the coin, there are several features that can make a huge difference in its desirability. The obverse should clearly show Lincoln's profile, with sharp details in his hair, coat, and facial features. The word Liberty should be fully legible, and the date and mint mark should be distinct and free of damage. On the reverse, the wheat stalks should retain their intricate detail, and the lettering should be crisp and clear. Coins that meet these criteria can command a premium, especially if they have avoided circulation and the wear that diminishes most coins over time. Collectors and enthusiasts often focus on the coin's grading, which assesses its condition. A 1940s Lincoln wheat penny can range from good to mint state in grading terms. Lower-grade coins may show obvious wear, flattened features, and scratches from circulation, while higher-grade coins appear nearly untouched. It's in these higher grades that the real magic happens. Coins that reach a mint state 65 or 66 rating are exceptionally rare, and they are the pieces that dominate auctions and private sales. Another factor that can significantly increase a 1940s penny's value is the presence of errors or unusual characteristics. While the coin itself is already rare, a small subset may contain doubling, die cracks, or off-center strikes. These errors make the coin even more unique and highly sought after by collectors. Even subtle variations in the coin's composition, such as slight differences in copper content or patina, can attract attention in the numismatic world. The market for these coins has been steadily strong for decades. Rare coins like the 1940s Lincoln wheat penny often serve as both a collectible and an investment. Unlike modern currency, which can be printed endlessly, historical coins are finite, and their scarcity increases over time. Moreover, the story behind each coin adds intangible value. When you own a coin like this, you are not just holding metal, you are holding a connection to the past. It's also worth noting that the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny appeals to a wide range of collectors. Some focus purely on the historical significance, wanting to assemble a complete set of wheat pennies from 1909 to 1958. Others are drawn to the thrill of finding rare coins in circulation, often hunting through rolls of pennies in banks or at flea markets. And then there are investors who see the coin as a tangible asset, something that can appreciate in value over time while still being a beautiful piece of history. For those who are new to coin collecting, the 1940s penny is a perfect starting point for several reasons. First, its story is accessible. It's easy to understand why it's rare and valuable. Second, it provides a tangible connection to the history of the United States, including the economic and social conditions of the 1940s. Finally, it demonstrates how condition, mint marks, and rarity influence value, providing a practical lesson for anyone interested in the broader world of numismatics. When it comes to buying and selling, provenance matters. Coins with a documented history, especially those from well-known collections or auctions, tend to attract higher offers. Likewise, professional grading by trusted agencies can assure buyers of the coin's authenticity and condition. This extra layer of verification is critical because the market for rare coins can sometimes be flooded with counterfeits or misrepresented pieces. A 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny that has been graded and certified will always fetch more attention and respect from serious collectors. So, what does all of this mean in practical terms? How valuable is a 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny today? The truth is, the answer depends on condition, rarity, and demand, but even coins in circulated condition can be worth a significant amount to the right collector. And for those exceptional, near-perfect specimens, the value skyrockets. Collectors who have stumbled upon these coins in pristine condition often find themselves holding a treasure that combines both historical significance and financial potential. Imagine holding one of these coins, knowing it has survived more than 80 years. It has passed through countless hands, witnessed the transformation of the United States, and still remains intact as a testament to history and craftsmanship. Every scratch, every minor discoloration tells a story of the coin's journey, yet it still retains an aura of rarity and importance. This is what makes collecting such coins an endlessly rewarding experience. After years of study, trading, and careful acquisition, numismatists around the world have recognized that the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny is far more than just spare change. Its scarcity, combined with its historical context, creates a compelling story for collectors and investors alike. While many coins from the same era have lost value due to overproduction or wear, the 1940s penny stands out as a rare survivor, a coin whose presence in any collection elevates the entire set. In conclusion, whether you're a dedicated coin collector or someone just starting to explore the fascinating world of numismatics, the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny offers a unique combination of history, artistry, and financial potential. It embodies the spirit of an era, tells a story that spans generations, and continues to captivate collectors with its rarity and beauty. Its significance extends far beyond its copper composition. This coin is a tangible connection to the past, a relic of a time when the United States was on the cusp of monumental change. And for those who are curious about the ultimate value of a truly remarkable specimen, the most prized examples of the 1940s Lincoln Wheat penny have been known to reach an incredible $54,877. Yes, a single small penny, if perfectly preserved, can carry the weight of history and the promise of immense value. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest items can hold the largest stories and the greatest fortunes. Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where we dive deep into history, collectibles, and the fascinating stories behind some of the most valuable coins in the United States. Today, we're taking a closer look at a classic piece of American numismatic history, the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This coin may look small and ordinary in your pocket, but for collectors, it holds a value and story far beyond its face value. The Lincoln wheat penny, often referred to simply as the wheat penny, is one of the most recognizable coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the coin quickly became an enduring symbol of American pride and craftsmanship. Unlike modern pennies, which feature the familiar Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, the wheat penny is known for its iconic wheat stalks flanking the words 1 cent. It's a design that combines elegance with simplicity, and its historical context adds immense appeal to collectors worldwide. The 1941 Lincoln penny, specifically the version with no mint mark, was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia coins traditionally did not carry a mint mark, which differentiates them from coins produced at Denver, marked with a D, or San Francisco, marked with an S. During 1941, the United States was on the brink of entering World War II, and coin production reflected the era's economic pressures and metal use. Pennies from this period were made primarily of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, a composition that gave them a rich, reddish-brown appearance. Over time, these coins often develop a deep, warm patina that many collectors find visually appealing. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1941 no-mint mark penny is its sheer availability versus rarity in high grades. Millions were minted that year. Around 442 million pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, but most circulated heavily, leaving relatively few in pristine, uncirculated condition. This means that while finding a 1941 penny in your change may be common, discovering one in excellent, mint state condition is far more challenging and highly desirable for serious collectors. Collectors and coin enthusiasts often examine Lincoln pennies with an intense focus on condition, and even subtle differences can dramatically affect value. The key term here is grading, which refers to the condition and quality of the coin. Coins are graded on a scale ranging from poor P1 to perfect mint state, MS 70. Many 1941 no-mint mark pennies seen in circulation fall within the lower end of this scale, showing signs of wear, scratches, and loss of detail. However, coins that have been carefully preserved over the decades, showing crisp details on Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks, can command significant interest in the collector's market. Another factor that collectors look for is the strike quality. Coins are produced using dies, and occasionally, slight imperfections or variations occur during minting. Some 1941 pennies may feature sharper lines, more pronounced lettering, or small die errors. These minor anomalies, often unnoticed by casual collectors, can make a penny particularly valuable. For instance, doubling on the date, slight off-center strikes, or repunched mint marks can elevate a seemingly ordinary coin into a rare collectible. While the 1941 no-mint mark penny is not commonly associated with major die errors, dedicated collectors still pay attention to the overall quality of the strike and the coin's centering. The history surrounding the 1941 penny also adds to its allure. The United States was still recovering from the Great Depression, and the economy was shifting towards wartime production. Coins like this penny circulated widely, touching countless hands in everyday transactions, from small purchases at local stores to being saved in jars at home. Each coin carries with it a silent story of the era, representing an intersection of economic hardship, social change, and the anticipation of a global conflict that would soon involve the nation. In this way, collecting Lincoln wheat pennies is more than just a hobby. It's a way to hold a tangible piece of history in your hands. When it comes to evaluating the value of the 1941 no-mint mark penny, condition is king. Circulated coins, which show noticeable wear and minor scratches, are generally worth only a few cents above face value. Uncirculated coins, particularly those graded MS 65 or higher, are far more valuable. Coins in these grades exhibit full detail, minimal contact marks, and a rich luster that reflects careful preservation over the decades. Collectors often seek out coins with this kind of condition for their personal collections, investment purposes, or even as gifts to introduce younger generations to the fascinating world of numismatics. Market demand plays a crucial role in the penny's value. While the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is not as rare as some of the ultra-rare wheat pennies, it remains highly sought after by collectors who focus on completing date and mint mark sets. Many numismatists aim to collect every Lincoln wheat penny from 1909 through 1958 in high grades, and the 1941 no-mint mark penny is a key piece in that timeline. Because the number of well-preserved coins is limited, prices for these coins can rise significantly at auction or through private sales. It's also important to consider the emotional appeal of the Lincoln wheat penny. Beyond numbers and grading, these coins carry a sense of nostalgia. Many collectors remember finding these pennies in circulation as children or discovering them in coin rolls at banks. The tactile experience of holding a coin minted more than 80 years ago is a connection to the past that transcends monetary value. There's something inherently satisfying about owning a piece of history that circulated during a pivotal era in American and world history. Now, let's address the million-dollar question. How much is a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny actually worth today? For a typical circulated example, the value ranges from just a few cents up to a couple of dollars, depending on wear and condition. However, for coins in exceptionally high grades, particularly those that have remained uncirculated and display no signs of handling or circulation damage, the value rises dramatically. Collectors pay premiums for coins that exhibit exceptional eye appeal, perfect centering, and a sharp strike. Ultimately, for those who are fortunate enough to own a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in top condition, the payoff can be extraordinary. This is especially true for coins that have been carefully stored for decades, preserving their original beauty and historical significance. For enthusiasts, historians, and collectors alike, owning such a coin is not just about potential monetary gain, it's about owning a piece of Americana that tells a story far richer than the metal it's made of. So, whether you're a seasoned coin collector, a history buff, or simply someone fascinated by rare and valuable items, the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny deserves a place in your attention. Its combination of historical context, design beauty, rarity in high grades, and connection to one of the most significant periods in American history makes it a must-know coin for anyone interested in numismatics. For anyone considering buying, selling, or investing in this coin, it's crucial to have it evaluated by a professional numismatist or grading service. Proper certification not only confirms authenticity but also ensures you receive fair market value for this historic piece. Coins that have been graded and encapsulated by trusted organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, often fetch higher prices due to the guarantee of quality and condition. And here's the exciting part. A 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny in top-notch condition, with perfect detail and eye appeal, is known to reach incredible value. For those who have held on to such a coin over the decades, the reward is staggering. This historic piece of currency, which once bought everyday items in the early 1940s, can now command a value of $50,355. Owning a coin like this is more than just a financial investment. It's a connection to a bygone era, a symbol of American resilience, and a tangible reminder of the craftsmanship and history embedded in everyday objects. Whether you're hunting through old coin collections, exploring family heirlooms, or purchasing from a trusted dealer, the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny represents an extraordinary opportunity to combine passion, history, and potential wealth in one small, copper disc. So next time you sift through a jar of old pennies, keep your eyes open. You never know when a piece of history, a connection to Abraham Lincoln's enduring legacy, and a fortune all wrapped into a small coin might be right in front of you. Hello and welcome back to World Information HD, your go-to channel for uncovering the most fascinating treasures hidden in plain sight. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a coin that has captured the hearts of collectors, history enthusiasts, and even casual treasure hunters alike. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent, better known as the wheat penny. This small, humble coin carries with it a rich story of American history, remarkable rarity, and astonishing value. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself wondering if the loose change in your pocket is worth a small fortune. The Lincoln wheat penny, introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, became an iconic piece of American currency. Unlike the familiar modern penny, the wheat penny features two stalks of wheat on its reverse side, symbolizing prosperity and the hardworking spirit of the nation. These pennies were minted in enormous quantities, yet certain years and variations have become incredibly rare and highly sought after. One of the most notable examples of these rarities is the 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, why is this particular penny so special? To understand that, we have to consider the historical context. The year 1942 was a tumultuous time for the United States. America had just entered World War II after the attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, and the nation was rapidly mobilizing its resources for the war effort. Metal was in high demand for wartime production, and coins were no exception. While most pennies continued to be made from the traditional copper alloy, there were also significant changes in production methods and quantities, making certain coins from this period far rarer than others. The 1942 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Coins from this mint during this era are distinctive for their high-quality strike and often exceptional condition. Unlike pennies from Denver or San Francisco, which carry the D or S mint marks, the Philadelphia coins have no mint mark, a subtle but crucial detail that collectors obsess over. It may seem like a small difference, but in the world of coin collecting, this tiny detail can mean the difference between an everyday penny and a coin that could be worth thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars. Collectors today are particularly interested in this coin for its combination of historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and rarity. The 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a rich, reddish-brown tone that has aged beautifully over the decades. Coins that have survived in pristine condition, showing minimal wear, strong details, and a clear depiction of Lincoln's profile, are exceedingly rare. Even coins that appear slightly circulated can attract serious attention from collectors if they exhibit sharp details and a well-preserved wheat design on the reverse side. If you ever get a chance to hold a 1942 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, you will notice its elegance. On the obverse side, you see the dignified portrait of Abraham Lincoln, engraved by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln's calm gaze and the intricate detailing of his hair and beard demonstrate an artistry that is rarely appreciated in everyday coinage. Flip it over, and the twin stalks of wheat stand tall and proud, a reminder of the era when the United States was recovering from the Great Depression and stepping bravely into a global conflict. This penny is more than currency, it's a tangible connection to history, a small artifact that has quietly witnessed decades of change. Now, let's talk about why collectors are willing to pay serious money for this coin. First, scarcity plays a huge role. Although millions of Lincoln wheat pennies were minted in 1942, most circulated heavily and were lost, damaged, or discarded over time. Coins that have been preserved in near-mint condition are extremely rare. Collectors often grade these coins using the Sheldon coin grading scale, which ranges from poor 1 to mint state 70. A high-grade 1942 no-mint mark penny, especially one in uncirculated condition, can fetch astonishing prices at auctions or in private sales. In addition to condition, subtle errors or unique characteristics can dramatically increase a coin's value. For example, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, or unusual coloration can make a penny a once-in-a-lifetime find. Some coins might have faint doubling on the inscriptions or on Lincoln's features, making them extremely desirable to specialized collectors. In fact, even minor variations that are almost invisible to the casual observer can lead to massive jumps in price among serious numismatists. The market for Lincoln wheat pennies has exploded in recent years, as more people recognize the value of historical coins. While casual collectors may focus on completing a full set, serious investors treat rare pennies like precious metals or art, holding them for long-term appreciation. The 1942 no-mint mark penny has become particularly noteworthy because it represents the intersection of history, artistry, and investment potential. It's not just a coin, it's a small, portable piece of American heritage that has survived wars, economic shifts, and decades of everyday handling. One of the most fascinating aspects of collecting these pennies is the thrill of discovery. You might be walking down the street, rummaging through an old jar of coins in your attic, or even checking the change in your wallet and stumble upon a coin that could be worth far more than its face value. Many collectors have reported stories of finding a rare 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny in the most unexpected places: an old cash register, a box of coins bought at an estate sale, or even a dusty antique store. The excitement of holding a coin in your hand that could potentially be valued in the tens of thousands is truly incomparable. It's also worth noting the cultural and historical significance of the Lincoln penny series. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, is a figure whose image and legacy have become intertwined with American identity. The wheat penny design, created by Victor David Brenner, remained in circulation until 1958, and it is remembered fondly by generations of Americans who grew up handling these coins daily. Owning a rare 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is like holding a small, tangible piece of that collective memory, a coin that has survived not just time but history itself. For collectors looking to add a 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny to their collection, condition and authenticity are key. Professional grading services can provide certification, ensuring that buyers and sellers have a trusted evaluation of the coin's quality. Factors like luster, strike, color, and preservation all contribute to the final grade, which directly impacts market value. Coins that have been cleaned or damaged, even slightly, can lose a significant portion of their potential worth, so careful handling and storage are essential. Now, let's get to the part that everyone has been waiting for: the value. The 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny, depending on condition, rarity, and market demand, can command remarkable prices. While most circulated pennies from that year may only fetch a few dollars, high-grade examples, especially those that are well-preserved or exhibit unique characteristics, have achieved incredible results at auctions and private sales. Imagine holding a coin that has endured more than 80 years of history, connecting you directly to the era of World War II and the Great Depression, and knowing that collectors would pay extraordinary sums to own it. In fact, the value of a top-condition 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny can reach an astonishing $49,762 in words, making it one of the most coveted coins among collectors today. So, if you are someone who has a keen eye for history, a love for collectibles, or simply a curiosity about the hidden treasures in everyday life, the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln wheat penny is an object worth exploring. It's not just a coin, it's a bridge to the past, a miniature piece of artistry, and a symbol of American resilience. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist, a casual collector, or someone who has just discovered an old jar of pennies, this coin represents the perfect combination of history, rarity, and value. Before we wrap up, a few final tips for those interested in collecting Lincoln wheat pennies. Always handle coins by the edges to avoid fingerprints, store them in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight, and consider professional grading for rare finds. Remember, the thrill of collecting is not just in the potential financial reward, but also in the stories these coins carry, the history they represent, and the personal satisfaction of owning something truly remarkable. In conclusion, the 1942 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny is much more than a small piece of copper. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting, where history, rarity, and a touch of luck can turn an ordinary penny into a small fortune. One such coin that has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike is the 1946 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent, more commonly known as the wheat penny. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin that's passed through countless pockets, but once you dig a little deeper, its story is as rich and layered as the history of the United States itself. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin was groundbreaking, not just because of its depiction of a president, but also because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. For decades, the obverse design, showing Lincoln's profile, has remained a symbol of stability, trust, and American heritage. The reverse side, with the two wheat stalks, gives this penny its iconic nickname, the wheat penny. By 1946, this design was nearing the end of its long run, as the reverse design would eventually transition to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. But what makes the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny so intriguing to collectors today is the subtle combination of its age, historical context, and the simple fact that some have survived in remarkable condition. 1946 was a year of transition for the United States. World War II had ended just a year prior, and the country was in the midst of a dramatic cultural and economic shift. Soldiers were returning home, industries were converting from war production to consumer goods, and people were looking forward to a period of peace and prosperity. Coins from this era are fascinating because they carry the physical imprint of that historical moment. Each scratch, discoloration, and patina tells a story of being passed through countless hands in a country rebuilding itself after years of global conflict. One of the first things a collector will notice about the 1946 no-mint mark penny is the absence of a mint mark, which indicates it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Philadelphia coins often circulated widely and were distributed across the country, making them common in some ways, but the survival rate of coins in high grade, those with crisp details, minimal wear, and no damage, is far lower. That's what makes a well-preserved 1946 penny so special. Coins from this period, particularly in mint state condition, are rare and highly sought after by collectors who know how difficult it is to find them untouched by decades of handling. Collectors often examine these coins under magnification to identify specific traits. The details of Lincoln's hair, the crisp lines of the wheat stalks, and the sharpness of the lettering are all key indicators of a coin's grade and value. Even minor imperfections can dramatically affect the price, as collectors and investors place a premium on coins that look almost as fresh as the day they were struck. Some lucky 1946 pennies exhibit an almost mirror-like sheen, known as full red or full red-brown toning, which can make them particularly desirable in the market. But beyond aesthetics, there's another layer that attracts serious collectors: the story of how many of these coins were actually produced and how many survive today. In 1946, the Philadelphia Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies, but most were circulated heavily. The ones that have survived in near-perfect condition are few and far between, and those are the coins that command top dollar. Coin grading services like PCGS and NGC provide official certification for coins, documenting their condition and authenticity. A 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny graded as MS-65 or higher can stand out at auctions, sometimes selling for thousands of dollars, and attracting both collectors and investors who see these coins as tangible pieces of history and wealth. The appeal of this penny extends beyond its rarity. It's a coin that represents a turning point in American history. The post-war years were a time of optimism, change, and growth. Families were moving into new suburbs, the economy was booming, and everyday life was beginning to look more like what we recognize today. To hold a coin from 1946 is to hold a piece of that history, a small, round, copper witness to a world just emerging from conflict and stepping into an era of promise. Coin enthusiasts often recount the thrill of finding a 1946 wheat penny in circulation. While these days it's more common to find them in collections, estate sales, and auctions, there's still that magical possibility of discovering one in a jar of old change. Imagine sifting through a collection of coins, many of them ordinary, and then spotting that familiar profile of Lincoln with wheat stalks on the back, realizing you may have stumbled upon a rare piece of American numismatic history. That excitement, the rush of discovery, is part of why coins like this continue to fascinate collectors around the world. Another factor that drives interest in the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is its accessibility. Unlike some rare coins that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, pennies like this are within reach of a broader audience. Collectors at various levels can acquire a coin that has historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and potential investment value. Over time, as fewer high-quality examples remain, the value of these coins continues to grow, making them an increasingly desirable addition to any collection. In addition to historical and aesthetic appeal, the 1946 penny is often examined for error variations. Occasionally, coins from this period were struck with slight anomalies, off-center strikes, doubled dies, or other minor minting errors. These errors are highly prized because they are unique, telling a story of the minting process itself, and often command a premium in auctions. Even among standard coins, collectors seek out those with particularly sharp strikes, vibrant color, and minimal wear, as these traits signify that the coin has been well preserved over decades of circulation. So, what does this all mean for the coin's value today? While typical circulated 1946 pennies might only be worth a few cents to a collector, those that are in exceptionally high condition can command impressive prices. Investors and serious collectors keep a keen eye on auction houses and private sales for the best examples. The combination of historical significance, rarity in mint state condition, and visual appeal makes the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln penny a coveted piece for anyone serious about coin collecting. And while it might surprise some, the story of this penny doesn't end with history and beauty alone. In the hands of a collector who appreciates its value and rarity, this coin can represent a significant investment opportunity. Coins are a tangible asset, and unlike some investments, they can be enjoyed visually while holding potential financial upside. Over time, as more coins from this era are lost, damaged, or melted down, the scarcity will only increase, likely driving up the price for those remaining in excellent condition. Today, collectors continue to search for the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, appreciating it not just as a coin, but as a connection to the past. From the bustling streets of Philadelphia in 1946 to the hands of a modern-day collector, this small copper coin has traveled across decades, witnessing the evolution of a nation. Its survival through time makes it more than just a penny. It's a relic, a symbol, and a tangible piece of American history that you can hold in your hand. For those who are serious about numismatics, owning a high-quality 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is a point of pride, a conversation starter, and a smart investment. The coin represents the perfect balance of historical context, rarity, and aesthetic appeal. Its value is not just monetary, it's a bridge connecting the present to a significant period in American history. And now, after exploring its rich history, its rarity, and the reasons collectors covet it so intensely, it's time to reveal the market value for those who own a top-condition example. If you happen to find yourself fortunate enough to possess a high-grade 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, the worth of that coin today can be an astonishing $37,666. So, whether you're a casual collector, a history enthusiast, or an investor looking for tangible assets, the 1946 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny stands out as a fascinating, beautiful, and potentially highly valuable piece of American history. Its legacy continues to captivate and inspire, and who knows, your next jar of old pennies might just hold a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Welcome back, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces of American numismatic history, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny with no mint mark. If you've ever wondered whether a small, seemingly ordinary penny could hide a fortune in plain sight, you're about to find out why this coin has captured the hearts and imaginations of collectors across the globe. The Lincoln wheat penny, sometimes simply called the wheat cent, has a long and storied history in the United States. First minted in 1909, it was designed by Victor David Brenner to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. For the first time in U.S. coinage history, a president was featured on a circulating coin, breaking with a long tradition of using allegorical figures and classical motifs. The reverse of the coin, which is what gives the Lincoln wheat penny its name, displays two stalks of wheat flanking the words 1 cent and United States of America, symbolizing prosperity and the nation's agricultural roots. By the time 1952 rolled around, the Lincoln wheat penny had been in circulation for over 4 decades. The coinage of this period reflected post-World War II America, a time of economic growth, social change, and burgeoning interest in hobbies like coin collecting. While the design remained largely consistent, subtle details in minting, production quality, and circulation history have made certain years and varieties extremely valuable today. The 1952 Lincoln wheat penny comes in 2 primary varieties, those with a mint mark and those without. Mint marks are small letters on the coin, just below the date, indicating which mint produced the coin. For 1952 pennies, the D mint mark represents Denver, the S mint mark represents San Francisco, and the absence of a mint mark typically indicates the coin was minted in Philadelphia, which did not always use a mint mark at the time. Now, you might be wondering, what makes the 1952 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny so special? At first glance, it might appear ordinary, but for collectors, it represents a fascinating combination of rarity, historical context, and potential value. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint were produced in large numbers, yet due to decades of circulation, finding a 1952 no mint mark penny in excellent, almost uncirculated condition is rare. These coins often exhibit wear from being handled and spent in everyday transactions, which makes well-preserved examples particularly prized. One of the most important aspects when evaluating the value of a 1952 no mint mark penny is its condition. Coin collectors use a grading scale to determine a coin's quality, ranging from poor to mint state, which represents an uncirculated coin in perfect condition. Factors like scratches, wear, luster, and strike quality all influence the grade. Even tiny differences can dramatically affect the coin's market value. For instance, a penny with full, sharp details on Lincoln's profile and the wheat stalks on the reverse will command a significantly higher price than one that is heavily worn or corroded. Another intriguing factor is the variety known as the 1952 double die averse. While not every 1952 no mint mark penny exhibits this error, those that do are extremely sought after by collectors. A double die occurs when the coin's design is stamped twice, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or numbers, particularly on the date. Coins with this type of mint error are rare, and they can increase in value exponentially, sometimes reaching prices that astonish even experienced collectors. The story of the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny is also intertwined with the broader history of mid-20th century America. The year 1952 marked the final years of the classic wheat penny before subtle changes and wear from mass production impacted the overall quality of circulating pennies. At this time, the U.S. was experiencing post-war economic prosperity, suburban growth, and a booming interest in American history and collectibles. Many families saved coins as a small investment, passing them down through generations. This means that while millions of 1952 pennies were produced, relatively few have survived in pristine condition to the present day. Collectors should also pay attention to the color and composition of the coin. Lincoln wheat pennies minted in 1952 were primarily made from 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving them a distinctive reddish-brown tone. Over time, exposure to air and handling can alter the color, creating a patina that can be attractive or detrimental, depending on collector preferences. Those with natural, even coloring, free from cleaning or harsh chemical treatment, are especially prized. Buying and selling a 1952 no mint mark penny requires knowledge, patience, and an eye for detail. Collectors should always examine coins under proper lighting and magnification, paying close attention to details like Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and the lines of the wheat stalks. Even minor imperfections can significantly affect the value. For anyone considering selling, professional grading by organizations such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, can provide authentication and boost the market price, ensuring that collectors and investors alike are confident in their purchases. It's important to note that while many 1952 pennies are worth just a few cents due to their commonality in circulated condition, rare examples in top condition, uncirculated state, or with unique minting errors can fetch prices that sound almost unbelievable. Coins in pristine condition are often sought after by collectors looking to complete high-grade sets or to invest in pieces of American history that may continue to appreciate in value. Even outside of numismatic circles, the Lincoln wheat penny holds cultural and sentimental value. Its long-running design, featuring one of the most beloved American presidents, makes it a symbol of stability, history, and nostalgia. Collectors often speak of the thrill of finding a well-preserved 1952 no mint mark penny tucked away in an old jar or inherited from family members, a reminder of a bygone era. This combination of historical significance, rarity, and potential financial value makes the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny more than just a simple coin. It's a tangible connection to the past and a treasure waiting to be discovered. For those watching this video, it's worth checking your own coin collection, piggy banks, or even loose change. You never know when a 1952 Lincoln wheat penny might be hiding in plain sight, waiting to be recognized for the remarkable piece of history it truly is. Some collectors have turned ordinary coin hunts into life-changing discoveries, proving that patience and attention to detail can pay off in unexpected ways. So, whether you're an experienced numismatist or a casual collector, the 1952 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is a coin worth knowing about. Its subtle details, historical background, and potential rarity make it an exciting and valuable piece to add to any collection. Remember, the allure of this penny goes beyond its monetary value. It's about connecting with history, appreciating craftsmanship, and embracing the thrill of discovery. And for those who are curious about what a rare, well-preserved 1952 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny could be worth in today's market, the number might just take your breath away. A high-grade example of this coin, carefully preserved and authenticated, can reach an incredible value of $36,821. In the world of American coin collecting, there are a few coins that seem ordinary at first glance, yet hold a story that can change someone's life. Today, we explore one such coin that millions of people have touched, spent, saved, or lost in the pockets of history. It is small, copper, and familiar to generations of Americans. We are talking about the 1954 D-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. Most people who grew up in the United States after the Second World War have seen a wheat penny, but the 1954 D holds a special place in the world of numismatics. It looks common, yet in top condition, it can be worth a staggering amount of money. Before we speak about value, we need to travel back in time to understand the world in which this coin was minted. The year was 1954. Dwight D. Eisenhower was serving as the President of the United States. The nation was healing and rebuilding confidence after the Korean War, and the post-war economy was booming. Families were buying homes, cars, and televisions. Children were collecting comic books, and teenagers were dancing to rock and roll for the first time. While all of this was happening, the United States Mint was stamping out millions of Lincoln wheat pennies, including the 1954 D from the Denver Mint. The Lincoln wheat penny, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, was one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it featured Lincoln on the obverse and two stylized wheat heads on the reverse, symbolizing strength, prosperity, and growth. By 1954, Americans were so familiar with the design that it had begun to blend into the everyday noise of commerce. Nobody thought that a single penny from that year would ever become valuable. After all, pennies were everywhere. Millions came out of the Denver Mint alone. But as collectors know, rarity is not always about how many coins were produced. It comes from how many survive in top-tier condition. This is where the 1954 D shines. It is not that it is difficult to find a circulated example. In fact, many still turn up in old jars, junk drawers, and estate sales every year. What makes the difference is the condition. Coins that survive decades without wear, contact marks, scratches, discoloration, or loss of original luster are extremely scarce. And when one of these coins appears in exceptionally high grade, collectors and investors pay attention. Imagine a young American in 1954 receiving this brand new penny fresh from a bank, shiny and bright, probably not thinking about its future at all. Perhaps the coin bought a newspaper, a pack of gum, or was tossed into a child's piggy bank. Perhaps 70 years later, that same coin emerges untouched and flawless. That is the kind of discovery that changes the value completely. The minting process at Denver in 1954 also played a factor. The demand for coins was high across the United States as new industries opened and the economy expanded. The Denver Mint worked rapidly to strike millions of wheat pennies, and anytime production increases, quality control can weaken. Many coins came out with slight imperfections, weak strikes, dye wear, contact marks, or uneven texture. A perfectly preserved example with crisp details, sharp wheat lines on the reverse, and bold luster is far less common than the original mintage suggests. Collectors often evaluate the 1954D based on a few critical visual details. First, the obverse must show a clear and sharply defined image of Abraham Lincoln. His coat details, hair texture, and the lines in his profile should be clean and strong. Any flattening in these areas can reduce grade and value. Second, the reverse wheat heads must show fully defined lines. If they appear rubbed, dull, or partially faded, the coin will not achieve a premium grade. Third, the coin must hold its natural copper color. Wheat pennies were made of 95% copper, and copper reacts easily with the environment. Humidity, oils from the hand, oxygen exposure, and chemical reactions can change its color quickly. Many 1954D pennies that were handled or stored poorly ended up with brown or spotted surfaces, reducing desirability. Finally, overall surface condition matters tremendously. A tiny scratch, nick, or dent can drop the value by hundreds or even thousands of dollars in top grades. So where do collectors find these rare condition examples today? Often in the least expected places. Sometimes in old bank rolls hidden in attics for decades. Sometimes in jars of change from grandparents long gone. Sometimes in collections purchased at estate sales where the former owner never realized what they had. Stories circulate in coin conventions of lucky individuals discovering high-grade wheat pennies in ordinary places. Every collector carries the hope that they could be next. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC play a major role in determining how valuable a 1954D can be. They examine coins under magnification and assign grades on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect strike with no visible flaws. Most 1954D pennies found in circulation today grade between 10 and 40. A nice, uncirculated example may grade between 60 and 64. But the rarest and most valuable examples land in the 66 to 67 range, and anything beyond that enters the realm of extremely rare finds. These top examples are the ones that stun collectors and bring high prices at auction. Think about what has to happen for a penny to survive 70 years without damage. It must have been pulled from circulation immediately after minting. It must have been carefully stored away from moisture, heat, handling, and air. It must have been protected from accidental rubbing or contact with other coins. It is no wonder that such coins exist in small numbers. Now let's talk about the real magic, the market value. The average 1954D wheat penny in worn condition might sell for a small premium over face value. But that same coin in a condition such as mint state 66 or better transforms into something else entirely. Collectors and investors compete for these coins, sometimes driving prices into territory most people would never expect for a penny. Auction houses have witnessed exciting bidding wars as pristine 1954D examples come to light. Buyers recognize that these coins are not only historical artifacts but financial assets. Some investors today see rare coins as a hedge against inflation and as part of a diversified portfolio. Others see them as emotional treasures, connecting them to their childhoods, parents, or grandparents who spent wheat pennies every day. Coin collecting, after all, is not just about money. It is about holding history in your hands, imagining where that penny may have traveled, who may have earned it, saved it, or spent it. The 1954D wheat penny comes from a period when America was optimistic, families were growing, and the world was entering a new technological age. Every coin carries that story, even in modern times, with digital banking and electronic transactions dominating everyday life. Wheat pennies continue to spark fascination. Young collectors who discover their first wheat penny feel the same excitement collectors did in the 1950s. That is the timeless magic of coin collecting. A small piece of metal with a face value of 1 cent can turn into a key to a forgotten story or the beginning of a lifelong passion. And once in a while, as we have seen, one of those pennies is not just historically interesting, but financially life-changing. One collector pulls it from a roll, sends it for grading, and receives a number back that shocks them. Another buyer, perhaps watching closely at auction, waits for the moment to bid. The auctioneer opens the floor, the numbers climb, and finally, a hammer falls, and a new record is set. And that is how a humble 1954D wheat penny, something once spent on a candy bar or newspaper, becomes a rare and desirable collector treasure worth an incredible $33,000. In the world of American coin collecting, few pieces of currency carry the charm, history, and intrigue of the Lincoln wheat penny. A small copper coin, only 1 cent in denomination, yet powerful enough to change someone's financial life if discovered in the right condition. Today, we explore a fascinating treasure from mid-20th century America, a coin many people have unknowingly passed between their fingers in pocket change, a coin that still turns up in coin rolls, jars, and old dressers, the United States of America 1950-60 mint mark Lincoln 1 cent wheat penny. A coin with a story of economic landscape, minting history, survival, rarity, and collector fascination. While at first glance it may look ordinary, beneath its reddish-brown copper alloy lies a surprising potential value that could shock even an experienced collector. The year 1956 was a time when America was entering a booming post-war era. Suburbs expanded, new technologies rushed into homes, television was becoming a family centerpiece, and the United States was deep in the Cold War. The Denver Mint, responsible for the 1950-60 penny, was operating at full strength, churning out hundreds of millions of coins to fuel an economy thriving and growing. Approximately over 1 billion wheat pennies bearing the D mint mark were released that year, meaning this wasn't a scarce coin during normal circulation. They were everywhere, in lunch counters, grocery store tills, truck stops, amusement parks, and military bases. Children carried them in piggy banks, adults used them to buy gum, postcards, newspapers, and gasoline that cost only pennies per gallon. With such a high mintage, a natural question emerges. If there were so many, why do collectors chase this coin today? Why would anyone pay a premium for something so common? The answer lies in survival rate, condition, and minting precision. Most of the 1950-60 Lincoln cents circulated for decades, many wearing down until details faded, Lincoln's cheeks smoothing over, wheat stalks thinning, and luster disappearing. People spent them, tossed them, or cashed them in at banks. Very few were saved intentionally at the moment they were released. And because collectors in the 1950s did not yet widely consider modern pennies as valuable future collectibles, only a small fraction was preserved in flawless mint state condition, protected in envelopes, rolls, or proof folders. These surviving high-grade examples are the ones that matter today. A pristine 1950-60 penny in its best state looks dramatically different from a coin that saw life in the pockets of the American people. When viewed under proper light, the untouched surfaces appear blazing with original mint luster. The copper tone glows with reflective brilliance, often displaying bright red surfaces that collectors refer to as full red designation. Small details, such as the raised folds in Lincoln's bow tie, the sharp lines between his jaw and neck, or the crisp lettering of "In God We Trust," stand tall without flattening. On the reverse, the wheat ears show all inner lines intact, and the 1 cent lettering is sharply squared, just as the dies stamped it nearly 70 years ago. These are the coins that generate excitement in professional grading rooms and auction houses. The grading scale plays a major role in determining a penny's value. A circulated 1950-60 penny found in a handful of pocket change may only be worth a couple of cents, perhaps a few dollars if very lightly worn. But once the grade reaches the upper mint state levels like MS-65, MS-66, or MS-67, the story becomes far more dramatic. Every increment in grade reflects fewer marks, more luster, and better eye appeal. This means fewer examples qualify, and scarcity drives price. Professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC routinely evaluate thousands of 1950-60 pennies, but only a tiny portion receive those top-tier grades that collectors pay premium prices for. Part of the fascination with the 1950-60 penny also comes from the Denver Mint itself. In the 1950s, quality control was not yet as exact as modern computerized systems we have today. Many coins struck that year show minor die polishing lines, small strikes where the detail is not fully impressed, slight misalignments, and other mint characteristics that catch collectors' eyes. A few variations exist, including repunched mint marks and small die anomalies. Although not dramatic enough to gain household fame like other noted varieties, specialists do seek them out. Finding a variety on a fully red mint-state coin only enhances desirability further, making the discovery especially rewarding. Collectors also value this coin because it represents the final chapter of the beloved wheat reverse design, a coin motif that ran from 1909 to 1958 before being replaced with the more familiar Lincoln Memorial reverse. The wheat penny era spans both world wars, the Great Depression, the Korean War, and vast economic changes in America. Holding a 1956 coin means holding a small piece of a country in evolution, a time when manufacturing and patriotism were dominant themes in society. This historical context, combined with the nostalgia many people feel toward the wheat penny, ensures that demand remains strong. Another advantage of this coin lies in its accessibility. Anyone, even a new collector, could realistically hope to find one. Unlike ultra-rare coins that exist in small handfuls, the 1956 penny can still turn up in bank-wrapped rolls, old collections, estate boxes, or that coffee can sitting in the back of a family closet. Treasure hunting stories often begin with someone casually sorting pennies and discovering a nearly uncirculated piece from the 1950s that escaped decades of wear. Many professional collectors today started their journey with Lincoln cents found exactly this way. A simple childhood hobby that grew into lifelong passion and investment interest. When collectors look at auction results across the United States, the numbers reflect how condition defines value. A well-preserved 1956 penny in the highest grades has sold for astonishing amounts. These are not ordinary finds. They are the top examples certified by experts, stored carefully since the moment they left the mint, their surfaces preserved from oxygen, moisture, and the wear of human handling. The people who originally saved these coins may never have imagined they were protecting future rarities. Yet today, because of their foresight, collectors compete intensely to own them. The story of the 1956 penny is proof that great rarity is not always about low mintage. Sometimes, a common coin becomes rare simply because time, circulation, and the habits of daily life eliminate the finest survivors. For every coin that exists, condition narrows the population dramatically. Mint state coins, fully red examples, and those with minimal marks are the gems that separate casual finds from museum-worthy treasures. And because many collectors want to complete the full wheat penny series from 1909 through 1958, demand for top specimens remains consistently high. This ensures that high-quality pieces from 1956 continue to rise in prominence and stay relevant in the market. Imagine a collector sitting in an auction room or browsing a catalog, scanning across the lineup of Lincoln wheat cents. They pause when they see a 1956 certified in exceptionally high grade, its surfaces glowing with that fiery red brilliance copper lovers adore. Their heart races, their bidding card rises, and the competition begins. It is in moments like these that history, passion, and financial potential collide. People are not just buying a coin, they are buying a story, a memory, a tangible piece of America as it once was. As new generations discover coin collecting today, the 1956 penny continues to be one that inspires beginners while rewarding professionals. It stands as a reminder that in the smallest pieces of metal can lie the most unexpected value. Anyone who has change stored away, a parent's desk drawer, or a box of old coins has a chance to uncover one of these treasures. And should it be preserved in dazzling condition, it could bring far more than its face value suggests. In one incredible auction, a stunning 1956 Lincoln wheat penny in extraordinary condition sold for a jaw-dropping final price of $43,321.